Alright, welcome. This is part 3 of the 5-part mini course for 8 chords, 100 songs. And in this lesson we're going to be learning 4 of the modern chords. Now, you may be a complete beginner or you may have already played guitar and you know some of these chords. I'm going to show you the modern way to play these chords, and this is the way a lot of the big artists, Paul Baloche, Chris Tomlin, Hillsong, they all use these new forms. And so we open up, line up, we grab, and we tilt our hand down to make this G chord, which you've been trying for the last few weeks. And you should have the G chord getting fairly close to being sounding nice. So now I'm going to teach you how to play the G chord into the C chord. Now you have the G chord made, and you can see it on the chart there. You can just pick up these top 2 fingers and move those top 2 fingers down. This is my tip, I use the tip of this finger to mute this top string. So you notice this top E string is not sounding anymore. You can have your thumb up here, you can put it back a little bit, whatever's more comfortable. I like to have my thumb on top, really. And some people like to mute that top string with their thumb, or they mute it. I find it better to mute it with the top of this finger. So you just kind of place your finger a little bit higher and see how it's kind of touching that string, and that's your C chord. And then we look, the D chord's a little harder because you have to move, so I'll show you the D chord now. You leave this third finger down, and that's going to be for all 4 of these chords. You pick up all the fingers, and you tilt even further, and you place your 1 and 2 finger on these frets like this. Now I leave my thumb over again. A lot of people like to do that. I do. And I tilt my hand down. My pinky's just kind of hanging out down there. I don't strum the A string, but I just strum these. So you have 1, 2, and then your 3rd finger. But in my program, the 3rd finger never moves until you move to like chord 7 and 8. But in the first 4, 5, 6 chords, you don't move this 3rd finger. That's a really great thing about the 8 chords, 100 songs method. You can go G, you can go C, and then D. So how I get to D is I take this finger right here, my 2nd finger, and I lead it into its position. So it goes first, and then I lay this finger down. So you can lead down to the D with this finger, and lead back up to the C with that finger. So get used to going from C to D. C, push that finger down to the very high E string, 2nd fret, and that's your D. And then the E minor, that's the easiest one of all the chords because you just take all your fingers off except leave this 3rd down, and you put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, the A string, and the chord charts are right there. And I like this E minor 7, G, C, and then you go D, E minor, leaving your 3rd finger down. So now we're going to play these chord progressions right now. We're going to play the chord progressions in example 1 and example 2. And we're going to count off, and it's G, C, E minor, D, all quarter notes. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now move to C, 2, 3. Move to E minor. Now to D. Back up to G. Lead up to the top finger first. You always lead and build these chords from the top. Now we go to E minor, and the D, now if you're having trouble with that, you can slow it down or double it. You can do 8 strums on each chord. Let's do example number 2. This is the 2nd example. G, C, and D, C, all 8th notes. Now this is a new strumming pattern as well, and it's all down 8th notes. So I'm going to show you that doing this, you can do the top notes, or you can do the bottom. But on an 8th note strum, you don't really strum all 6 strings all the way through. So on my strumming, I might just be strumming the top 3 or 4 chords. So let's do that with G, C, D, C. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is just, I'm doing a little bit slower. I'm doing, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that's a little more advanced, and actually how it's written, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Alright, that's the strumming. Now next week we're going to be learning a simple version of Amazing Grace. Now that you have G, C, D, C down, this should be really easy for you to play a slow song, Amazing Grace. Make sure, if you're not yet a member, log into 8chords100songs.com, become a member, and check for the chord charts there.